Welcome. Some of you been here before kind of knows what goes on with me. Some of you that haven't been here before probably don't know a thing about me. Well, I have a lot of idols. I have a lot of heroes. The biggest one I had was all of my children. I never broke it down individually. Sometimes I think I probably was best that I did, but I never did. But my older children, they've grown to realize that decisions that moms and dads make are pretty valid. I'll show you what I'm doing when we're done. One thing we don't learn to teach our kids while growing up an entirely different generation with entirely different struggles is I guess how to cover everything. There's nothing you can cover perfect. I don't think there ever will be with the ever-changing world we live in now. So many choices, so many casted choices, so many implementations on. I gotta watch my wording because YouTube, Facebook, all the big tech companies are very limited on what they want you to share. So I have to watch myself. I'm banned on a few of them, so I'm not that kind of guy. Not one to be held down because none of my relatives were ever held down. They all fought. They all lost blood. But in a big family, we've all lost a loved one or two, I bet, throughout the years. If anybody's here, the very first and foremost thing I want to touch bases on would probably have to be suicide awareness. In children, through ways of social casting. Making somebody think they're uncomfortable for just being the way they are before they're mature enough to make a decision like that, educatedly or scientifically even, because it's not taught in school, that your brain doesn't go through certain puberties which cause your brain to make certain decisions correctly, I would assume. Seeing as how I think there are 2 or 3 of them. I'm assuming 3 of them. But today's episode, I'm going to show you the garage that I'm in. Pushing the old truck that I had kind of sort of wanted to give to one of my children and they ended up liking something else differently, or both vice versa, or one stronger. Doesn't matter at this point. But I am, however, carrying out a dream, which I want everybody to know about. It was made possible by a few people, but it was actually made possible because my children have all grown up to have respectful acknowledgement for what we call, when I'm an old timer, as morals, respect your elders, listen to your parents, be inside a certain hour of the night. All your elders, let me rephrase that. Once again, anybody that watches this video, thanks. Anybody. I'm not cool, and I don't have background music, and I don't want to show my face, but I think I got things that let me alliterate the caption on this whole video. Folder, if you will, playlist, if you will, update, if you will, episode, if you will. I don't know how this stuff goes. Everything will be dedicated to my son, Job Thomas Willett, who took his life less than 3 weeks ago for suicide, unexpectedly. Let me repeat myself when I say that social casting on children that haven't hit a certain age to respect certain responsibilities should be monitored, folks. Depression, highly monitored. Things that cause all these things should be highly monitored. I'm not saying anybody isn't doing or did or done what they should have done, not done, or did. What I'm saying is what I'm saying. I have a lot of influences in my life. I don't know if I gotta go through a whole list of those. The video I'm preparing you for now, folks, is actually a journey, a tribute to my son, Joe. There's a truck. I pushed it outside. It was stored in the garage. This garage. Let me thank everybody that came and is listening. This garage right here, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the garage. I know there's a few people that have seen the garage. There's a few people that will see the garage. There's a lot of people that will be hanging out at the garage. Maybe some people will visit the garage. But this tribute here, I'm not going to expose what it is. I'm going to give kind of brief description. Oh, yeah. That's great. That's why I'm not professional right there. That is why I'm not professional right there. So, this whole tribute, this whole video, these whole episodes, this whole thing is for my son Joe. Because before everything had happened, I had an envision that with a couple children, that this is what I wanted to do to protect them from the things that they were newly incoming, if you will. I'm gonna say that there's good and there's bad in everything, but there's an age limit that things should be sternly implemented. Until that reason, everybody scientifically knows that the human body was born, when you're brung into this world, it's born to trust everything. Trust everything. And that is a hard thing to do for I can't imagine what a 13-year-old would have to even make a decision about, because I can't even say I was raised in a different generation. I was raised with different things. And that's hard for me. You have to adjust as a parent. And I know there are other parents out there that do what they gotta do. And you think you got it all covered, man. And then there's this thing that, you know, drives them away because their parents can't track them, can't monitor them, or that's the best way to get away with those type of shenanigans. Or, folks, let me tell you something. It's not the same thing as 1990, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 2000. It's not the same thing. Now, 20 years of progression or aggression, or however the hell you want to look at it, whatever party you're from, in this day and era is not the same as it was back when I was raised. There are things that you are faced with in a fucking way different era and time in your life that probably not most men. Yeah, we ain't gonna go there. Everybody in the service, I want to shout out to you too. But things that men or children or young growing men or women or anybody can't stomach. Reach out to your children, your neighbor, uncle, cousin, anybody, and let them know that it's a real thing. Suicide awareness for everybody. But I want to implement social casting. Social casting from a point where you can't see somebody. From third party. Something you might say because you just don't think that it won't matter. But I want everybody to know that the internet is a very big place, a very dark place, a very shallow place at parts. But I want you to know it's a very dangerous place. You remember that there are children out there, and the schools are teaching children to be out there. I don't know. I don't want to comment on anything but that, whether I agree or not agree. But when it's the only way, and your child is given a gateway to the most dangerous place that there could be for a vulnerable sponge, if you will, that's pretty scary, folks. That's pretty scary. So I'm gonna get to the second part of the video. Now that everybody knows everything, and I don't know if you are following, or if you're not following. If you are, hit that like button. But there will be future episodes and continuement to what's going on here. The garage is clean. There is a truck that actually sat back there, and it covered the whole thing. So I know my camera skills are not professional. It's probably because I don't like showing my face. But as a man once said, I think his name was Sheriff Strafe, love your face. That hits home a lot. But come back and see this, because there's a big surprise. It involves, let me switch the camera. It involves this alley, this big house, and Secret Service, this big house, and this little garage. But it's all in remembrance to a big heart, which is my son. And the part 2 to this video of many will be coming up shortly, and I will throw the starting of the made little bit to none. That is actually this is actually soda. It didn't make any mess. There was a little bit of stuff over there, but that was for oil and stuff that we cleaned up from taking the engine apart just to check it out. And part 2 will consist of pulling a secret out of this honey hole right here that's been there since, I'm gonna say, before 2000. But come to find out, once I had found out a few weeks before, maybe it was a month before my son had passed, that his favorite car was a Camaro. So we are going to, and believe it or not, this house is built around the car. So that video, there will be not a lot of talking and a lot of cutting out the entire front of this building. And the only thing holding us up is one of the biggest festivals in the world, and we're waiting on that to finish, which starts this Saturday. So once this is done, then we will be pulling out and exchanging. And if anybody wants to know, I traded. The gentleman was older, and I felt bad for years because we had lived in this house for several years. Raised all of our children in this house from the beginning of moving from Michigan to Evansville. And raised all of our children there. It's changed a little bit since we moved out, but just to give everybody a sneak peek. Oh yeah, the buses are moving in. Everybody see that bus? Oh yeah, it's gonna get crazy soon. They're moving stuff in all around down there. Give everybody a little zoom in here. The trailers are for the festival. The festival is at the street that the light's at. And yeah. So yeah, oops, hold on. So behind these doors, that's where she lies. And she sat there for 20 years, at least. Skeptical guy here. Alright. So just so you all know what's going on and what to fill in. The next video will be very exciting. It might be postponed a few days.